Is it hard being a clean comedian?
Oh, I don't think so. For me personally, to be funny, you need to tap into your own personality, and so I'm just generally clean in real life, so it comes across in my comedy, and I think that's important. It's always hard to be someone you're not, but for me, this is just what I do, and this is how I'm funny, so it's no problem for me.
Do you ever get heckled?
Yeah, I do get heckled. I mean, all comedians sort of get heckled. In New Zealand, it's not that bad because Kiwis are pretty low key. But yeah, sometimes you get some weird ones. But generally, everyone sort of comes out and has a good time, and so they let you tell their jokes, and yeah, you do your thing.
How did it feel to be nominated for a Billy T Award?
Yeah, to be nominated for the Billy T, I mean, was a big honor, particularly to kind of even have your name loosely associated with Billy T was quite cool, being in a country where he's so beloved, So, yeah, it was great just from people from the industry and to be recognized in that way, so it felt great.
Why should people become Christian?
Why should people become a Christian? It's not necessarily related to comedy, but I mean, I just believe that Jesus represented a great way to live, and so both here on earth and eternally. So for me, it's been looking at Jesus' life and the things that he said and the example that he had, and I believe he's a pathway to God. So that's sort of what I've discovered, and I encourage as many people as I can on that same journey.
Why did you move to New Zealand?
I moved to New Zealand to study when I was 19, and then I met a Kiwi girl, and so that's why I stayed. So I came out here to study and hang out and get to know some people and see what the country was like, and then I met a girl, and so I ended up staying here and kind of putting down my roots.
Who gets your humour better, Americans or New Zealand?
I think Kiwis get my humor better because I actually started doing comedy here, and a lot of my references, a lot of my acts has been developed in New Zealand. So I've kind of, even though I'm American, I've always done comedy for New Zealand audiences.
Who inspires you to be a comedian?
I listened to a lot of comedians growing up, and my friend was the first one to say, hey, maybe you should do comedy, and so that was quite cool that it came from a friend. And then since I've been doing comedy, I mean, I draw on a whole lot of different influences, but some of my favorite comedians, Bill Cosby, Jerry Seinfeld, Brian Regan, and I just love great comedy, and love going to see it live and just being a part of that atmosphere.
If people want to be comedians, do you have any tips to...
Yeah, if you want to be a comedian, just do it. Just get up on stage, go to an open mic at a comedy club or at a bar that's doing comedy. Get in front of an audience and let them tell you if you're funny or not. And if they don't think you're funny, then work on it and go back there and keep getting up there. And because the more you practice in front of a live audience, the easier and the funnier you become.
What about for kid comedians that can't actually go into pubs to do comedy?
Yeah, well, there's a few programs around. There's a class comedians program that the Comedy Festival runs every year, so get in touch with them. And in terms of just get up in front of any type of audience with friends, peers, assemblies, speech competitions, involved in theater, sports, or whatever sort of gets you in front of an audience where you have the ability to be funny. And then when you kind of move in later on to career, you kind of get yourself into some of those stand-up gigs.
I was thinking what we could do. I'll just list some comedian names that I just think of. You tell me if you think they're funny or not. Okay?
Okay.
Dave Hughes.
Yep, I think he's funny. I haven't heard a lot of his stand-up, but funny, yeah.
Rove.
Yeah.
Rhys Darby.
Yeah, very funny.
Jesse Mulligan.
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbett.
Yeah, Corbett's very funny.
Di Henwood.
Yeah, Di's funny. By definition, comedians are funny, but you're asking for my specific opinion, yeah.
Is there any comedians that you don't think are funny?
I mean, there's some comedians that aren't my style, and that's the thing, and that's what people got to realize. It's kind of like music, not everyone likes rock and roll, not everyone likes jazz, and so there's people, comedians that I go, I don't particularly find their style of comedy funny, but other audiences appreciate it. And so they're out there doing their thing, and people are liking it. You can't really fault them for that.
Your band that you're in?
Yeah.
Where did you get the name from?
My comedy band, Dash Ambrose, me and my mate Brendan, who's in it, we're just sitting around thinking about names, and he said he likes the name Dash, and I said I like the name Ambrose. So we just put it together, and we became Dash Ambrose. So, yeah.
So what's coming up for you? Do you have any tours or anything coming up?
It's pretty relaxed at the moment. We just finished the comedy festival, which is a big thing. Just recorded the CD, so that's a big thing coming out. I'm going to the States for a holiday, but the next big thing will be next year. Getting into touring some of Australia and getting back under the comedy festival. Other than that, it's just the regular gigs in Auckland and traveling around the country, but no big tour as such at the moment.
What do you do when you're not doing stand-up?
When I'm not doing stand-up, I have a part-time job, so I'm a pastor. I actually work for a church, so it's sort of funny. I tell people that I tell jokes at pubs on Saturday night, then talk about Jesus at church on Sunday morning. So that's what I do, and then hang out with my family, my wife and my son Micah, and with my friends.